We are live. We are live. Nada, we made it, man.
Yes, we have
We
done
made it. We made it. Wow, 30 days. 30 days.
It's been a consistent but hard slog, actually. Harder than I thought it was going to be doing this, but...
I definitely have a newfound respect for like your daily news readers.
Yes.
Like, I think I'm not going to get into it too much because we're going to do a separate video talking about what we learned from our 30-day live experience. But what I will say is, the way the news can affect you and your mood. And I noticed that like about a week or 2 weeks into this, of like just the constant reading of people doing this, people doing that, and it was generally all negative stuff. Yeah, and so that was a lot.
Definitely,
very quickly.
Definitely.
But we're back.
We'll go into it.
We're back. And this episode, we decided that we weren't going to really touch the news.
Not too much.
Do you have any stories?
The only story that I think we should cover is the MPs getting another pay rise this year.
So, all right, we'll get into that. First of all, big shout out to Darren. Thank you so much for tuning in and being with us. We really appreciate you. We are stick around because all right, this is ending, but we're gonna do something different. We got like an announcement coming, so stick with us for that. But yeah, go on. So I missed this.
Okay, so MPs. So I think it literally is breaking news just this morning that it's been announced.
Oh, it's quite funny.
So the MPs, they will be getting a pay rise.
Of course
that's happening.
Of course they will.
Their pay rise. So at the moment they are on £84,144 a year, and that's going to rise to £86,584. That's set to take place. MP salary in 2010 they were on 65,000. MP salaries generally increase between 2.9 to 5%. And in the last 13 years, they have now had a 31% pay increase. And basically, but they also let's remember, they have their expenses covered. They have subsidized restaurants. They're able to claim a second home and also have a second job as well. MPs cost us 210 million a year. That's for the MPs. That's how much it costs us.
Do you see what? Yeah, it's stories like that is why I won't miss this part of doing this, because it's like it gets to a point when you think about all of the stories that we've covered over the last 30 days, and there hasn't been one. Maybe there was one, but the majority of them were all negative stories about our politicians, about the people that are leading this country, about people who should in fact be the example to how we're living. And all they have shown us consistently is that they are not the example. And they have shown us consistently through their actions that they are not for the people.
Yep.
And I don't know what it's going to take for change. The fact that this can even happen in a year we haven't even completed the first quarter. Yeah. And we've had the most amount of strikes ever.
Overpay.
So let's just break this down for a second. So you have nurses, firefighters, school teachers, driving instructors, who else?
It's like traffic, road workers.
Road workers, the railway, all striking for better pay. They just want pay to like align with the cost of living. Yeah. All of them denied. All of them having to fight the government just so that they can have
employees.
All their employers, just so that they can get something which is like, we can live. Yeah. In light of all of the cost of living crisis. And then some of the very people telling them no are like, but yeah, our independent committee is granting us a pay rise.
Over £2,000 a year extra. How many people even have that coming to them? There are so few people.
Even when you do get a pay rise, it ain't as much as that.
No. And in a 13-year span, whose job their pay has gone up by 30% in 13 years? There are very few public servants that can say that they've had that type of a pay rise.
I think at this point, yeah, we all need to take a long, hard look at ourselves and ask ourselves, why are we allowing this to happen?
Yeah, this is it.
Why are we allowing this to happen? And what is the way that this can be combated? Because the only thing that I'm thinking of right now is, how do I become an MP? Like, because I don't know if this is something that you then approach from within. Because I know as well there will be those MPs that are like, I'm not accepting the pay rise, or I'm donating the pay rise. Yeah. And that's all well and good. And I appreciate the sentiment, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. And I think this is it. Here's the thing. The new Tory party chairman, Lee, whatever his name is, he was espousing that people who are on 30, 35 a year should come to him and he will show them how to live on that money.
Oh, okay. So he can help with their budget.
He can help with their budget. Okay. So therefore, it wouldn't be a crazy suggestion to be like, MPs are going to get half of their pay rise. So they're going to get like 40 something K a year. Yeah. And then what we're going to do is we're going to spread that money out somehow. And then like everybody else is going to, it's going to balance out. 40K a year, that should never be a problem for this man.
No, he should be fine. He said he could be fine. So it should be okay. But yeah, that was the one story that's going about today. So think over that. And
well, right. We are going to go into some parenting conundrums today. The first one is, I don't know. I feel like the woman was a bit naive in this. So you tell me what you think. So it's from a woman. She's 32. She lives with her husband who's 39 and they have a child. They live in an apartment. Now, her upstairs neighbor is a 36-year-old divorcee, okay, who comes around to their apartment 2 or 3 times a week for coffee, chats, blah, 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 blah. So she says when she comes over, she compliments my husband. She said on more than one occasion that he is her exact type and she would never let him go if he was her husband. I didn't think much of it and just carried on with the conversation. She was here last night and left pretty late after dinner. After she was gone and I started cleaning up, my husband asked, why does she keep coming here? What is her purpose? That really sounds like something I would say. What is her purpose? I replied that she is just looking for company. He said, you are a bit naive sometimes. I have to tell you, milk is white and charcoal is black. As I stood there quiet and confused, he continued, I don't want her coming around here anymore. If she's here when I get home, I will make an excuse and I will leave until she's gone. Do what you need to get rid of her. Then he just left the kitchen. Today, I kept thinking about the conversation. She does come and stay longer when he is around. If it's just me and the kiddo, she makes polite conversation for a bit, but then after a quarter of an hour or so, she leaves. Is she hitting on my husband? I didn't have any evidence that she did something like that. Regardless, it's my husband's home and he should be comfortable. I'm thinking of slowly stopping whatever relationship we have, you think? So would I be out of order if I stopped talking to this woman without evidence that she is trying to get with my husband? How would you handle this situation? I am sure nothing has happened. My husband is very loyal and I am not mad at the woman. I just want her out of our life.
How would I deal with that one? It's really hard because they kind of live on top of each other. Yeah. It's like, how do you avoid her? I think I may just... you may do like a succession of excuses. Like, oh, we're going here. Oh, we got this to do. And it's going to be obvious because they're going to see no movement. So then it's like, oh, they don't want me round anymore.
But then you create like an awkward atmosphere. So like when you pass each other in the corridors and whatnot have you, and it's just like, but I thought you said...
I don't think there's ever a way for this not to be awkward.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If I weren't going to actually say something, like maybe you're being inappropriate or my husband doesn't want you round, I probably would blame it on the husband.
Why?
No, I would just be like, my husband doesn't really want you around.
Yeah, I think that would be the easiest thing. Yeah. Darren's just made a point, which is what I thought when he was reading it. And he said that it sounds like she's tried it on with him and he basically isn't trying to have a war over this. So that's what I think, because it's just like, she
So
overtly...
she's already
she's made a
in.
move. She's made a move.
Okay. And he's like,
nope. So rather than telling the wife outrightly,
this is what's happened.
This is what's happened. He's saying, you're a bit naive, innit? You can see she's on it. Yeah. Just lock it off.
Yeah.
Lock it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think that's, yeah.
Like, yeah. It's in the same way, like just being like, my husband doesn't want you around anymore.
Yeah, just blame it on the husband.
Yeah.
Just blame it on the husband.
He doesn't
Absolutely.
seem to care to talk to her or not. It's just a simple, I don't want to see her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's just a bag of messy. Like, I mean, the biggest red flag was from the jump when she said, oh, he is my type and I would never let him go. Like, I don't know why.
Do you need
after that visit, why she came round again?
She ain't watched Single White Female before. Or Fatal Attraction. She obviously doesn't know what can take place.
It is, like that is, it's not even, do you know what? For me, it doesn't even feel like naivety. It just feels like you're just dumb. Like, what? Like you're literally waiting
for something
this.
to take place.
And then when it happens, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I trusted her.
Yeah.
Like, oh. Anyway, so that was very foolish. Very foolish. Shout out to FB Comms. Well done, guys. Looking forward to what you do next. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the love and support that you have shown us. We really, really appreciate it.
Definitely.
Okay, so story number 2. Am I out of order for starting to date 3 months after my marriage has broken down? So this woman got a message from her 19-year-old daughter, basically chastising her.
For dating again.
Now, she says that her dad was dating within a month after separating and she never expressed any objection. So I didn't think 3 months was unreasonable, but she's made it crystal clear that she has a very different expectation for me.
Interesting. And 19.
19. So she's 19. She lives on her own. So she doesn't live with the mum or dad. So after the separation, she had moved out. So she lives on her own. And she is now saying this to her mum, that, I think you're out of order for... And it seems like throughout it, in the text message, she was kind of making excuses for the dad in terms of like, he wasn't really dating. He was just in the process of... It was very wishy-washy. You very easily got the impression that she was very much a daddy's girl. Okay. And I think, she's 19, but in essence, you're still a child. I know for a fact at 19, if my parents had split up, that would have been crushing for me. And so I think she is just reacting probably like a 9-year-old.
It really depends on who has filed, and I'm feeling like maybe it was the woman that put in the space to end the relationship. That's oftentimes where it goes, and she may have been really good at masking what the problems were in their relationship, so she is now being blamed for the ending of it. Yeah. But I kind of feel like 3 months is a bit fast, but that depends on how long you're checked out of the marriage for. So it may not be.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Because the people stay in marriages for a very long time when there is nothing there. So the reality of the situation is you were ready to check out 2 years ago.
Maybe. So you've had 2 years of processing and now it's just finalized and you're like, okay, I'm ready to date.
Why do you think the double standard is for the mum though?
I mean, it's just a double standard in society. Like, men can have more women than a woman can have men. I think it's the same. I think she's just living out those same types of stereotypes. Like, you should be in your house and maybe grieving this relationship or not doing anything for longer. And as a man, no, that's what he's going to do to get over it. He's going to find other women. I think she's just living out a stereotype. But it also does seem like she's angry with her mum.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also surprised in the sense that 19, Gen Z, generally the thinking of Gen Z is like, go mum, go do your thing sort of thing.
Not all of them.
Yeah, but clearly.
It's what presented in popular culture. Yeah. This is how they are. But actually, there are so many conservative leaning people of all ages, and she may be one of them that is just like, I don't even want my mum to be dating. There's that. There are so many people that are like they don't actually want their mum to ever date again. And that's their thought process. Now, you had your time.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I've always, like, you know, my dad passed away like over 20 something years ago. And I think initially, obviously, because you're dealing with the grief and everything, all of that, you're not really even thinking about the idea of your mum dating again. But I absolutely wish that was something that she entertained. Just because when you get older and you realize the importance of just companionship, because your children, as this 19-year-old has just left home, your children leave home, they start their own lives, and you can't have that expectation of them to be there at your beck and call all the time. This is why it's important for people to be able to have companionship and not feel that guilt about it.
Yeah.
You know?
But that is a thing, though. There are so many people that are like, no, you had your time. It's over now. Especially placed on mothers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you would think because it's another woman, she would kind of understand a bit more. But no, she's not seeing her mum as a woman. She's seeing her as her mum.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it goes.
That's fair dues.
We got some more comments?
We got some more comments. So JS says, good afternoon. Oh, man. So he just found us this morning.
Oh.
And it's the last one. But stick around to the end. We'll talk about it.
But also, you have 30 episodes to go through.
Yes, you've got 30 episodes to go through. So go through all of those in the channel. Check out we got the Chop House on the channel. Check out Your Aunties Could Never on their channel as well. So there's stuff. Nicola, I know this week you said you wanted positive news. Can you shout out Letitia Wright's receiving her doctorate from the University of Guyana? Now, Dr. Letitia.
Ah.
Can I?
I love that.
Yeah. Like the way I love this girl, you know.
Yeah.
Like the way. So here's my little claim to fame. So we studied at Identity Drama at the same time, and what I love when I see her like on interviews now, and what have you is it's the exact same energy.
Yeah. She hasn't changed.
She hasn't changed.
Same girl.
She's that same beautiful, humble, focused. Oh man, it's the same energy. So yeah, massive shout out to Letitia Wright, because that's some brilliant news. We like that.
I love that, and big up to the University of Guyana for doing that. That's lovely. That is brilliant.
That is brilliant. So we got another one. So my partner and I just got engaged. We're not all about the white dress, big party thing, and want to go to Fiji and invite immediate family only. When we got engaged, I only briefly mentioned the idea of going overseas to get married, and my mum has gone into full guilt mode. My mum and I are very close. My partner is very clear that he doesn't want the full fanfare, and as much as it might disappoint me or my mother, I totally respect his view. He's the one I'm marrying. Am I out of order for disappointing my mum and not doing the wedding she would like? As I write this, I realize the answer myself, and it seems ridiculous. The power of guilt, ha ha ha. And I am 44 years old.
I don't know why I thought she was younger, but yeah, that is the power of guilt, though. And it's all of those things. There are so many people who, just because they have children doesn't mean that they're mature.
Yeah.
And you'll have your wants for your kids, and that may not pan out. And I imagine that she probably is her only daughter. And it's all the daughter that is like, you're getting married, so I want to live out this dream of being the mother of the bride and all the fanfare and inviting people and all of that. But it's not your life.
It's not, but I do feel that a lot of the time in these situations, it's generally usually mothers, but parents, there is also a lack of empathy for how they feel. So it's generally the thing of like, it's not your life, crack on, let her get on with it. But actually, you've raised this woman for, 44 years. Well, not raised for their fault, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you've raised this woman, and when you have a child, that child is born, and along with that child, you have hopes and dreams and aspirations for that child. And along the way, you know, your child gets to a certain age, you realize that they're not going to be the next Beyonce. You realize that they're not going to be an accountant. They're not going to be a doctor and what have you. But all along the journey, what people never remember is that all of these hopes and aspirations, them space to be like, okay, I know that you have wanted this for the best part of 20 odd years. So like, you need to give them space to be able to process that feeling. And actually, what's wrong with her having input in your wedding and coming to some sort of agreement where it's like,
because it's not her wedding.
Of course it's not her wedding, but she's not a nobody. She's not nobody off the street.
No, it's just,
I mean,
it's just
to dismiss her and her feelings, I think is harsh. I don't think there's anything wrong with being like, Mum, we're not going to do what you want. However, this is what we are going to do. And because we're not doing what you want, we're going to incorporate some of this into that for you. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, that's pandering. It's not that.
It's not pandering.
It's literally, this is the wedding that we want to celebrate our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're a family member, but you're not going to be in our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this day, our celebration. We want to do it destination. This is our plans. Now, within what they set out as their plans, if the mother wants to contribute to that, that's different. But to be like, I want it this way, and their way is a complete opposite, and you're guilt tripping that it should be my way, that's where you have to then be like, they're not emotionally mature enough to deal with this, and we are going to have our wedding how we want it. There are too many
But you can explain that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what she's battling with, is, do I have that conversation, or do I try and give in to...
No, I don't think you give in. I don't think you give it. Like, the idea of being like, we're going to have our wedding the way that my mum wants us to have our wedding is ridiculous.
No, but that's what she's battling against, because it is like, is it actually, should I be respecting what my mother wants over what my husband wants? That's the question.
So you shouldn't be respecting what your mother wants over your husband wants. I think that is a given. Yeah. What I'm throwing into here is that she doesn't need to be shut out totally. Like, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, I guess that's a choice
wrong
on the mother's end. If she is
absolutely
affronted by, you're not doing what I want, versus actually, okay, so we're going to go here. Maybe could we throw in another dinner, and then if somebody can come, but with destination weddings, though, it usually is, the numbers are going to be small. And usually that is the affront to an older generation. That celebration of being able to invite all of your friends, thinking of all the times that you've gone to your friends' children's weddings and all of that, it ties in. But those are just social constructs. And if you have a child that doesn't want to follow in your footsteps on that, you kind of have to just accept it. We're different. It's a different time. And weddings shouldn't be driven by family members' desires. It should be the couple and how they want to celebrate
it. I'm just saying that there's nothing wrong with incorporating some of what she's asking for.
She has
if
to
you
be
can do it.
Emotionally mature to deal with.
There's nothing saying that she isn't.
No, I'm just saying that would be the caveat.
Yeah.
It is like, actually, but if somebody is already guilt tripping you on what you've decided to do, there has to be firm boundaries in place that if you're coming along on this is how it's going to be.
I think it's like, once you add a little compromise into there, so you're like, I'm not doing what you want to do. However, I will add this in. And then if that is met with, well,
it's not the,
Yeah.
44, you're kind of older, I think. I get, even for the husband's point of view, I do think that there's a youthfulness in a big wedding, and as you get older, you're generally more like grounded in who you are, and I don't think the pomp and ceremony is really needed. I think that is definitely a thing, and being 44 and now you're getting married, you probably do want it to be a real mature celebration of your love and not a grandiose showing, really.
I mean, I must admit, like, when I generally think about our wedding, it's absolutely not the wedding I would do now.
No, and maybe that's why I'm even really sympathizing with her. Is our wedding isn't the wedding I would have planned without mother's involvement in it should be this way, and actually being more firm in it's not what I want.
Yeah.
And it's not it's like you're doing a wedding for everybody else other than, is this even representative of my personality?
But then also, what that's just kind of sparked in my head is the thing of weddings aren't necessarily just about two people getting married. They're about two families coming together. Traditionally speaking, like historically speaking, that has been the thing of like, it's two families coming together. Whereas now, in modern society, Western society, it's become very much about just the two people.
Well, I would say we have a traditional wedding, and that's done with tradition. That's like culture. That's one thing. Now, when that then gets remixed into what we would call the white wedding, that is a European wedding, and it is an extra. Those are the standards that we're going into. But culturally, people then remix it again and make it another cultural celebration. But we had our cultural wedding. So again, lots of things are just, it's influence and control. And it's hard to separate that out when we're talking about parents. But really, that type of white wedding that we do here, it is a celebration, but it should incorporate the couple's personality in there. It shouldn't be driven by parents and what they want. That actually doesn't symbolize a good union. If they just take it back to what it is that you're doing, it's like, that's not actually a very good foundation if it's based on a parent's wants. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well,
do what you want, girl.
Do what you want, man. do what you want. Do what you want. That's all I got, you know. What you got?
No, we're at half an hour.
How? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that went a bit quick. I want to do more.
You want to stay online?
Yeah. So this is the last episode. So at the end of last year, Nana came to me with this thing of like, I think this is what we should do at the beginning of the year. Number one, just to help grow the channel. Number two, it'd just be good for us to develop ourselves. And if I'm being absolutely honest, when she said it, I just kind of went, thinking that the idea would go away.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
But I did say when I was saying about the idea that just in order to start the year off with like real discipline, if we can do this challenge, I think it would set us in a really good standing for the rest of the year. If we set our task of we're going to do it and complete it, that's going to be great, because how many things can we say we've started and totally gone to the finish line of?
Yeah.
And it was like, if we do that at the beginning of the year, I swear we're going to have one of our best years ever.
Yeah.
So I was really hell-bent on doing it. And once it got to about January the 1st, I was like, you and your bright spark ideas. Like all of the, that's going to be long. And what about if you've got to go here, was coming in already. But there was still another side of me that was like, just start it. So we did.
So we started it. And now we've completed it. And we've got so much that we want to say about it. And we're going to be doing a separate video about that, just kind of talking about what we learned over our 30-day live stream challenge.
Technically, energy.
Yeah. All of it.
There's so much.
All of it.
It's a real learning curve. And anybody with a YouTube channel who you may come across this, I would say definitely do it.
But really you're right as well about what you're saying about the sense of achievement, because it is this morning as I was collating like the conundrums together, I was just kind of sitting there and just a little smile just came on my face, like rah, because there was so, especially the last 2 weeks, there were so many opportunities where it would have been very easy to be like, sack it off. Like there's other priorities, sack it off, and we didn't, and we kept it going whilst balancing everything else. So I'm proud of us for that. So yeah, that's amazing. But we will have a more in-depth video probably next week. Talking about everything that we've been through. But although this is the last For Evan's Sake daily, and again, we're going to go into more info about this in the new videos. I don't want to say too much, but we will be back live streaming. The frequency will be different. The format will be different. And we will have more information on
Well, we
that.
can tell them it's going to be a weekly.
Yeah,
it'll
okay.
be-
Yeah,
it'll
so it's
be
going to be a weekly. It's going to be a weekly
show.
live stream. It's going to be a weekly show. And any more? Should I do any more?
What are we calling it?
So I was going to save the name till...
No, let's tell them. We got people on with us.
All right, okay, cool. So the new show is going to be called For Evan's Sake, It's Friday Night. So it's going to be a Friday night show, live stream, 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's going to be bits that you've seen from the daily, i.e. probably like mostly the conundrums and stuff. Maybe a little bit of the news, like we'll pick out standout stories, but more than anything, we want it to be a feel-good show. So it's not going to be drolling over what's Rishi Sunak done now, what's this person done now. But it's going to be pulling out interesting stories from the week and kind of discussing those. And then we will have like I've given the whole show away now.
Yeah,
that's right.
We're
it's
there
fine.
now.
We're there now. It's okay. So, and then we're going to be having like a special interview section where Nana and I will be sitting down with particular individuals and just getting into conversation. People watching, if you've ever been around us, you know we love conversation. We love just talking and discussing ideas and whatnot have you. And that's essentially what we're going to be doing on the show. It's what we're going to be doing in these interviews, sitting down with these people and just kind of expanding on that. But that's all going to be in our new Friday night show. For Evan's Sake, It's Friday Night.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I mean, just as you were talking, I was thinking like back in the day, there was that 11 o'clock show.
Yeah.
It's gonna have that type of a feel to it.
Mhm.
So yeah, informative, funny, and really going down rabbit holes on certain things as well, and talking to people who we kind of want to just speak to and pick their brains, and they may not be your average type of person who gets interviewed, or maybe even on the controversial spectrum, but just interesting people who's like have a story. Let's go. Let's explore our curiosity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And have a conversation with them.
A few more comments. Aquia, Fire from the Sun, happy last show. Thank you, Aquia.
Thank you.
Darren, congratulations on completing your challenge. Thank you. Dorothy, I love the idea of following through with a plan for growth. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And Darren, will it be a longer show? Yes, it will be a longer show. It's going to be running around about an hour. So double what we'll be doing on these live streams. So yes, we are really looking forward to it. Yeah. Anything else, my dearest wife, before we leave?
That's it. But just thank you guys. Like really, really thank you so much for being with us. And especially Darren, because I swear Darren's kind of been there. Watched like so many and Monica as well.
Yes, Monica as well.
Just thank you guys.
Nicola too.
Yeah.
We really, really, really appreciate your support. Like it's amazing. And it's been also one of the drivers, because obviously you get up some days and you're like, oh, sack this off. But actually there's a few people out there that are waiting to watch.
Just one or two, you don't want to let them down.
Yeah.
And that's all you need really is just a couple of eyes. so it's really appreciated.
Very much so. Guys, have an amazing Friday. Have an amazing weekend. We are not back on Monday. We will be back next week with a video. Again, like I said, talking about what we've learned, and we'll go into a little bit more about the actual show as well. And obviously a start date for the show as well. So watch out for that video. If you are not subscribed to this channel, please take this opportunity right now to find that button wherever it is on the screen. If you're watching on your laptop or your phone, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, because there's so much stuff that we've got coming for the rest of the year, and we want you guys to be a part of it.
Yes. Thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye. I love you.